Why do we hold on to the things that hurt us so deeply? This is something that I've struggled with for the past few years more than I would like to admit. I constantly think about every mistake I've ever made. I replay conversations in my head knowing that nothing can change the past. I overanalyze every small detail and look for explanations, hoping to find closure, even if deep down I knew that there wasn't any. Without realizing it, I'd end up spending more time inside my head than actually living in the present moment. After sitting with it for a while, I've realized it all comes down to one thing: control. Overthinking often gives us the illusion of control. The mind convinces us that if we analyze every detail, we can somehow prevent future pain or undo the past. And because uncertainty feels so uncomfortable, we keep replaying old moments, trying to predict what comes next in a world we were never meant to fully control. Sometimes we hold on simply because these painful memories have become a part of our story, and letting them go feels like letting go a piece of ourselves. In a strange way, familiar pain can feel safer than the unknown. So we grip on tightly, not because it helps, but because change feels frightening, and holding on gives us that feeling that we still have some form of control over our lives. Now, I've always struggled with learning to let go, but it wasn't until I came across this book, How to Stop Worrying and Start Living by Dale Carnegie, before it helped me put into words to something that I've been experiencing for such a long time, and also providing me with useful practices that I could implement into my own life. Overthinking often makes us feel like we are making progress, but the truth is, it rarely has any real intention of solving the problem. The more you spiral in your thoughts, the more your mind becomes entangled. Every negative emotion becomes amplified and keeps you stuck in a loop. Small mistakes suddenly feel huge, tiny regrets feel unbearable, and your fears feel like mountains you simply cannot overcome. And that's when decisions start to fall apart. We procrastinate, constantly question our choices, worrying about outcomes that almost never happen. And so often, we end up feeling drained because all of our energy went into thinking instead of acting. For me, this wasn't just something that happens during the day. So often, I find myself lying in bed at night, replaying the same moments over and over again. My body was obviously tired, but my mind just kept on running. And on some nights, I wouldn't even sleep at all. I'll just watch the hours go by, caught in this cycle of overthinking that I couldn't break out of. I didn't know that this was a common thing that other people experience, because everyone around me appeared to move through life with ease. They didn't seem to overcomplicate every tiny detail of life like I did. But after much research on the internet, it became clear to me that this is a much more universal experience than I thought. Plenty of people around the world from all walks of life struggle with the same patterns of rumination. Fortunately, there are ways to break out of this cycle. There is no greater feeling than a sense of calm and clarity that comes with anchoring yourself in the present moment. Choosing to focus your attention on what you can influence instead of what lies outside of your control. Maybe at some point, we all need a reminder in our lives that it's okay to give yourself permission to simply let your thoughts exist. I noticed that as I engaged with my surroundings, the constant spiral of worries began to loosen. It's fascinating how your emotional and physical states fit into each other. The more I focused on what I could control, the calmer my body felt, and the more present I became, the easier it was to let go mentally. Of course, some days it's easier to let go, but on other days it can be so difficult. That's why letting go is a practice, not a destination. The more intentional we are with where we place our attention, the more we build the habit of release. After all, freedom isn't about perfection. It's found in the simple, deliberate practice of being present.